Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is none only than the other Tina C. Hines, a fifth generation empath, intuitive clairvoyant, medium, and healer. She holds a certification as a life and international transformation coach, dedicating her life's purpose to guiding emotionally wounded women on a transformative journey towards self-love, self-care, and self-worth. With a wealth of experience, Tina has graced numerous podcasts and been featured in the most esteemed media platforms, including Good Morning America, the New York Times, the Tamara Hall Show, and Trenton Now. Her influence extends across continents as she travels the United States, Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean, hosting healing retreats that empower women all over the world to rediscover their own happiness. Tina's distinctive approach has established her as an authority in transformational coaching. Her vision is clear and profound: to embolden women to embrace unapologetic abundance, allowing them to craft the lives they truly deserve. Before embarking on her journey as a certified life coach, Tina spent an impressive 3 decades in corporate America serving as an executive assistant. This extensive background enriches her coaching with a unique depth of insight and practical wisdom. Currently, Tina resides in the vibrant city of Morocco alongside her cherished son. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you not only a fifth generation empath, an intuitive, clairvoyant, medium, and healer, but my sister and my friend, Tina C. Hines. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the second episode of Different Perspectives. I am excited today because I have with me the one and only Tina C. Hines, the best life transformation specialist I know. And so I have asked her to come on to the Jennifer Experience as a trusted partner. I wanted to formally introduce her to all of you today. And she has taken the time out to sit with me and kind of explain what she does and how she does it. And I think that it is worthy of talking about so you all can know and not have to come and ask me all these questions. So I'm excited about this conversation. I want to give everybody a disclosure that this particular podcast is for educational purposes only. This is not to serve as advice, particularly for you, because we have not actually met you. Now, you can feel free to contact us if you need to privately, but use this information with your best interest in mind. Listen with your best interest in mind. I do have to let you know that there's a trigger warning because some things I talk about on this podcast may be triggers for some people. So if you have, anxiety and things like that, make sure, like I said, you listen with your best interest in mind. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Tina C. Hines,
Hello.
all the way from Morocco, ladies and
All the way
gentlemen.
from
I mean,
Morocco.
you made my show worldwide already, Tina. See, blew
There
me
you
up
go. I'm
already.
glad that I was able to be the one to do that for you.
Listen. And we were just saying, it's our 8-year anniversary. We've known each other
Yes.
8 years. And ladies and gentlemen, she will tell you, I said, and I don't regret meeting her.
Yes.
She's been a
The it
blessing to my life. She's enhanced it. She's taught me some things. I've had a reading of hers. We're going to get into that. I've had a reading. She's given me some unsolicited ones. I will tell you that because I'm her friend. But the ones that I paid for, I loved. They're authentic
wonderful.
and they're true. So you can trust her, but I want her to tell you about what she does. And I wanted to say that I'm glad that she's my friend. I'm glad that she's my sister. I'm glad that I know I can call her up as a trusted source and I can believe what she tells me. And so I'm just grateful for the friendship. Happy anniversary to you, my dear.
Happy anniversary to us. I
Yes,
am
yes,
I am just
yes,
so I'm glad, like, when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, it's been 8 amazing years since we connected with one another."
yes,
And I also remember coming to your event in Texas.
yes, you
You had an
did. That's
event, and
right.
I was like, I'm
Yes,
traveling a lot,
support.
but I'm gonna make a pit stop and I'm gonna come to Texas."
Yes,
And so those 2 things really stood out to me because when you make connections with people and you love the work that they do, it is important that you continue cultivating that relationship. And so for you to invite me to come and support you was I couldn't say no. I had to say yes and figure out some way to make it happen in the midst of all of my other traveling that was happening at that time.
well, I appreciate that. I'm honored. I'm glad that you're here. Like I said, all the way from Morocco. This is amazing. Modern day technology is just amazing at times. So I'm just glad that we can connect And, you know, we're both still walking the earth and we're both still doing what we do best. I'm just glad to share that with everybody because listen, if you have not heard of Tina C. Hines, you're in for a treat. You're in for a treat. So without, you know, prolonging it, let's start off with what you do and how you do it. Most of you saw that when I released the Trusted Flyers partner for Tina, you saw that she specializes in a couple of things, not just one thing. And normally, most women, you know, specialize in a couple of things because we're good at multiple things. So I want her to tell you what she does and how she does it and kind of go over what that looks like for a typical client today.
Okay. So most people come to me for a couple of things. I focus a lot on self-care, self-worth, self-love. And the work that I do with the individuals who come to me, it focuses on transformation coaching. And with that, a lot of the times they are experiencing some past emotional trauma and they are walking in a space of unfulfillment. At the same time, a lot of them are empty nesters where their children have grown up and left the house and they're trying to figure out, well, what do I do
Mm,
now? Let me preface this with when they come to me for trauma, I do have to do an evaluation to understand if this work is more therapeutic versus coaching, because there is that fine line that I choose not to cross. And if it is therapeutic, I do redirect them to someone who can support them in the therapeutic space. However, if it is of the coaching nature, then I can ascertain if I am the best fit for them to achieve the results that they desire. And that comes from asking a number of questions of what triggered this particular situation going on in their life. And sometimes it does go back to childhood or relationship that they had, friend or family or romantic. And by asking a number of questions, I help them make a more informed decision of if we're a good fit.
mm,
So when we dive deeper into exploring what's going on with them, one of the biggest tools that I give them is the why, to consistently ask themselves why. So they start out with a simple sentence. I'm feeling sad. Why? And
mm-hmm,
it's because of XYZ. And I continue this cycle until we are able to get to the root cause of what really is going on. Because on the
mm-hmm.
surface, many times they feel like, oh, I'm sad because I lost my job today.
Right.
When you start diving deeper, the sadness isn't about losing the job because you didn't want to be there anyway. The sadness is more of they let you go versus you choosing to leave. And oftentimes,
Mm.
why that happens is because here comes the spiritual side.
Okay.
Universe is giving you the opportunity to put out the resume, go for the interviews, go find a job that you really want, but you're delaying it because you're in your comfort zone. And when universe is like, well, you're going to delay it, we're going to push you. We're going to shove you out of the nest. So they're like, oh, you don't want to be in this job and you're not making the decision to leave on your own. We're going to have them release you. So now you're stumbling and you're upset because I didn't get to pull the trigger first. I didn't get to say I quit versus we
Mhm,
no longer need you. And so that's when you start going deeper of what's going on with a person.
mhm,
And that's a lot of what I do. I do a lot of exploration to help them come up with their aha moment because it is not
right.
about me telling them what I see and what they should do. It's me guiding them towards the answer that they desire.
Right. And so that, ladies and gentlemen, is what you call successful coaching. See, that's what you heard her say and how she asked those questions. Because I want to be clear. I see a lot of people, like you said, when we met 8 years ago, life coaching was not as popular as it is now. And a lot of life coaches have had to rebrand and change their name and do different things because everybody now is the life coach. Everybody now is doing that. It's funny. I had a friend tell me the other day that there are people who are doing all kinds of things who don't even have a GED and they're just
Mm.
out there. And so it's important, not necessarily, I'm not going to put a thing and say that education makes people, but it's important to notate the experience and it's important to notate what type of credentials the person may have, what type of coaching they do. It's important also to, I think, even check reviews like I told Tina, I know a lot of people who are searching for answers. I do. And I think that when you are looking for the truth, you're looking for an answer, you're searching for something, and you're looking for your desired coach or whomever, therapist too, because I like the fact that you said, obviously, with me being in the mental health field, I like the fact that you said that you take an inventory to see if you can really help this person or if it's above what you can do for them. And I think that's important because that speaks to the integrity of what you're doing. So I applaud you for that. Like I said, it sounds like a great thing to me.
It's very important. And what's so interesting, Jennifer, is there was an occasion where I had connected with someone. I don't know how they found me, but they kept saying, I just really want to work with you. I love how you are heart centered. And it's almost like you're nurturing when I hear you speak with other individuals. And
Hmm.
as we were going through her intake and having the discussion of why she was coming to me, I'm saying, "Oh, that's not my area." And I wanted to make her aware of why it wasn't. I says, "Here's what you're working through. And I feel that you would be better served if you get therapy versus coaching because of the sensitive nature of what you're working through." And
Hmm.
she literally was arguing with me. Like, "No, you don't understand. I want to work with you." But I was like, "No, sweetie." I said, I will never allow anyone to sell themselves short when I recognize that there is a need that I can't serve. And if you come back to me on other challenges that you're facing, perhaps I can work with you. Now, I have worked in tandem with clients who are going to therapy and receiving the coaching in tandem. And it has been
Yes.
an amazing relationship because we're doing two separate things, but we're still cohesively working together. So that has happened.
Yes.
I've also had clients who have gone to therapy first and then they've come back to me. And part of the reason I think they like me is because they also say, you're straight no chaser with a hint of love. Like you're not letting us say, no, I can't do this. Like when people tell me, oh, I don't know. And I say, listen, between 1 and 5 years of age, you don't know. 5 and older, you know why certain things. You just don't want to say it because it makes it real. There is no I don't know in adult. You know, you just don't want to say it because it makes it real. So let's get real. If you want your breakthrough, if you want your growth,
Hmm.
you're going to have to put your ish on the platter and start working through it
If you want it.
if you want it.
If you want it.
Hmm.
I agree. When you said a mouthful there, I said, ooh, yeah. And I would agree. You are straight no chaser with a hint of love.
She said,
I
oh, I
would
got
agree.
love.
Yes. Oh, she has love. There's some love there. There's some love there. But she's definitely straight no chaser. I can attest to that. Absolutely. I haven't run yet, so it's good. It's good. I agree with that. So yes. So what else do you do?
So, from the metaphysical side, I do energy clearing, and I'll list them all and I'll explain them. I'll do energy clearing. I do distance intuitive readings. I do mediumship. So, from backwards to forwards, my mediumship is when I connect with loved ones who have transitioned. Typically, my clients are looking for closure or they're maybe seeking clarity or they have experienced the presence of a loved one who has transitioned and they're trying to understand why is this person, the spirit coming to them in this moment.
Yeah.
The mediumship is not always challenging, it's always interesting, I like to say, because when the client makes the appointment for the session with me, typically their loved ones, they start showing up. I never felt scared about it. So just to give a little bit of backstory, I am a fifth generation of doing this spiritual work.
And when you say fifth generation, you mean
From my great great grandmother all the way up to my mother. It falls on my mom's side of the
mhm.
family. And at the same time, which is all people always find funny, is my mother's a minister. So I'm a PK kid. Um,
I find that very strange. Yes. Hmm. That's and how old were you when you realized you had this?
I was 40. Now, I was an adult when my gift was revealed to me. And how it came about was I was suffering from clinical depression and I was going through an awakening at the same time. And I kept feeling my grandmothers around me and I never knew exactly why. And so I started asking family members, and I'm like, do any of you remember my grandmother? We call her Nana. Do any of you remember Nana saying that these things about her mother or what have you? Now, I had met my grandmother. I had met her mother, who was my great-grandmother, and my grandmother's sister. So those four I had met. I had not met my grandmother's grandmother. So my great-great-grandmother, I had not met her physically.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm having these experiences and I'm sharing it with my mom's sisters. My mom's the oldest of 10. And everybody's like pushing me, go talk to this person, go talk to this person. No one was ever giving me an answer. They kept
Mm-hmm.
pushing me to another sibling. So finally, one of my aunts says to me, go talk to your cousin, Jenny, who is my grandmother's niece, who's still alive.
You have a
And
cousin, Jenny?
I have a cousin, Jenny,
So
too.
there's
And she's,
Grandma Jenny, and then you have a cousin. Wow.
yeah. And
Okay.
cousin Jenny was named after Grandma Jenny. And so at the time, she was in her 80s, still alive, not living far from me in New Jersey. And I call her up and I say, hey, cousin Jenny, how are you? And she's like, I'm fine. What's going on? I says, can I take you out to dinner? Because I need to pick your brain. And she's like, okay, fine. I go to pick her up and she opens the car door, leans in and goes, what do you want to pick my brain about? You know, older people don't have no filter either. What do you want to pick my brain about? And I said, well, can I at least feed you first? And so she gets in the car and I
Mm-hmm.
start telling her what I had experienced. I said,
Mm-hmm.
I think I need to commit myself to the hospital because I'm seeing dead people. And she says, well, what do you mean? And
What?
I says, I saw Nana, who was her aunt. I said, I saw your mother. I saw grandmommy and I saw some woman who I don't know who she is. And she says, well, describe her to me. And I was like, she's tall, she's little brown skin like me, blah, 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 blah. And she goes, oh, that's your great-great-grandma Jenny. You're just like her. I've been waiting for you.
Mm.
That was how she said it to me. And I'm sitting there like, you've been waiting? You couldn't tell me? And then over dinner, she started to share with me. She's like, I knew you had the gift. I've always known. And then I started reflecting on certain things that she would do. She would always call me. She would always send my cousins to me. And she has 10 kids as well. And her oldest daughter would come and she's like, yeah, mommy told me to come and talk to you. You would know the answer. And I never knew why, but she would always have them come and talk to me. So over the years, she and I would have conversations and every phone call that would end with, but Tina, you know you can't stop. But Tina, you know you can't stop. You're supposed to be doing this. So she explained to me who that woman was. It was my great-great-grandmother. When we went back to her home, she showed me a picture of her. And I
Mm-hmm.
busted out in tears and I said, yes, that's the woman in my vision. And she goes, that's your great-great-grandmother and you're just like her.
Mm.
And so all of my grandmothers, my mother's side of the family, they did somewhat working with women. My grandmother worked with women, infant, and children, always giving, always helping. My great-grandmother, her mother, was the wife of a Pentecostal minister. So she was like undercover doing her stuff. And then her mother, Grandma Jenny, the story that was told to me was that she used to help to heal the soldiers. And my mother was a nurse. She's retired, but my mother was a nurse. So there was always this consistency of helping and doing it in a way of healing.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it came to the gifts, everybody was different. My grandmother had dreams. And what was great was one of my aunts, she had a box that had like 4 of my grandmother's journals in it. And inside the journals were dreams that she had written down, as well as stories about my grandma Jenny. Are you feeling lost or uncertain about the path ahead? Do you crave clarity and direction in your life? It's time to turn to the wisdom of the oracle cards. Hi, I'm Tina C Hines, and I'm here to offer you intuitive guidance and support through oracle card readings. Oracle card readings provide more than just answers. They offer insights and perspectives that can illuminate your path and empower you to make decisions aligned with your highest good. Whether you're facing challenges, seeking guidance on a particular situation, or simply looking for encouragement on your journey of self-development, Oracle cards can provide the clarity and focus you need. Oracle card readings are a powerful tool for personal growth and spiritual development. They can help you navigate life's challenges, gain clarity on your purpose, and cultivate a deeper connection with your inner wisdom. With each reading, you'll feel more aligned with your true path and empowered to create the life that you desire. Don't let uncertainty hold you back any longer. Visit tinachines.com to schedule your Oracle card reading and embark on a journey of self-discovery and enlightenment. That's tinachines.com. And inside the journals were dreams that she had written down, as well as stories about my grandma Jenny.
Oh, my.
And I had the pleasure, I was actually the first one to read the journals. No one else in the family had read the journals. When my aunt learned what I was experiencing, she gave me the box and I read the journals. And I'm asking, do you all remember certain things in the journal? And they were like, yeah, but you were too young to remember it. And I was like, no, I remember it. And then I would tell them certain pieces of it that my grandmother had not written in the journal.
And you weren't scared.
And I wasn't scared. That was the weirdest thing. I was never scared about it. It was like, it was innate. It was within me. And even as I started doing this work with individuals, it was like the foundation of everything was laid for you to do it. In the past, it couldn't be as open as it is now. And so now they passed the baton to me. I'm tripping, but I'm running. And it is like, this is what you were called to do. Everybody heals in different ways. My grandmother had dreams. Her sister could lay hands on people and heal them in certain ways. My great grandmother, she had the gift of sight. My mom has intuition. Everybody has a different version of it. And lucky me, I got all of them.
Oh, my. All of them?
I have all of them. I have all of them. And some overshadowed the other depending on the season. Early on, it started out with intuition and my gift of knowing. And then it transitioned to the mediumship. I just started getting a lot of women who were coming to me who just wanted to reconnect with their loved ones who had transitioned for whatever reason. I could tell you a story about that. One time I was traveling to Anguilla, which is the place of healing that I take women to sometimes for my retreats. And a woman had overheard me on the ferry talking about my work. And so later on, she reached out to me and she's like, oh, can you come to my villa and do a reading for me? And I'm like, of course I will. So the night before, I'm feeling this person like dancing around me, like swaying. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means, but I have to write it down. So the next day I go to her villa and I'm giving her the reading. And I kept saying, I says, I see two things. One, I see red. And two, I see a lot of dancing and swaying. And she started crying. So I continued on with her reading. And she says, I need to show you something. She pulls out her phone. Her mother is wearing a red bandana on her head because she was working through cancer. And they were dancing.
Oh, my.
And it was the last dance she had had with her mother before she transitioned. And she was like, there is no way you would have known that. I'm like, I don't even know you. It was interesting that the red bandana on her mom's head and the swaying and the dancing of the last time they were able to spend together. And a lot of times that's what I get. I get my messages the day before I do the reading with my client. And then I capture what I put. In my home in Atlanta, I used to have a fireplace. And one of my clients, her father smoked cigars and he would always stand by my fireplace. And I would feel when I'm standing by my fireplace.
Okay, well, now, how you get rid of the people after you're done with the client? You're going to have a bunch of dead people at your house.
No, but it's so interesting because everybody has a different purpose and they all have to leave eventually. But for some reason, he felt my house was the party house. And I'm like, I don't even party. But I would always smell the stench of his cigar and I would feel him at my fireplace. And I would call my client and go, what are you doing? And she goes, why? I said, because your father's here. And she'd be like, oh my God, Tina, and you'll never guess what happened, blah, 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 blah. And I started sharing, I was like, okay. So eventually what I had to do was I had to move my office upstairs in my loft area. And I'm like, if you guys want to hang out, you can party here, but not downstairs. My bedroom was downstairs, not down by the fireplace. But eventually they were escorted out. What happens on occasions is this, Jennifer, because it's always interesting. There are occasions when loved ones, because I am the conduit to connect them, where the loved ones will come back to me because there's something going on and I need you to lean into it. One of my international clients, her daughter, she had a young daughter who died. I think she was like 7 when she transitioned. The first time the mother was really skeptical until I started telling her certain things about her daughter that I didn't know. And then one day I was working in my bed and I felt her daughter like jumped on my bed. And she kept asking, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you done yet?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not done. I can stand over there." So yeah, I'm having these mental conversations with the spirits. I'm used to it. And so I send a message to my client and I go, "Are you okay?" She goes, "Yeah." I says, "Well, your daughter's here." And I says, "And I don't know why." And I was like, "She's playing with her sweater, a white sweater, and she keeps asking me, 'Am I done yet?'" And she goes, "She used to do that a lot to me when I was working."
Oh my goodness.
And she's like, "But I'm okay. There's nothing going on." I says, "Okay, well, I'm going to ask her to leave then if everything's okay." 2 hours later, I get another message. She goes, "You'll never guess what happened." I goes, "What?" She goes, "One of my work colleagues transitioned and my daughter wanted to know if I was okay." I'm always obedient to the messages I get. If I get a message, I'm reaching out because I know there's a reason. I give it once or twice. Rarely do I get to a third time, but I have to do a check-in. It's what my calling is, to do that
Hmm.
check-in just to make sure. And most of the time, people think, "Oh, I'm fine." And I'm like, you got to remember, your fine may not necessarily be to you and to someone else.
Right. Hence, I've had some calls from Tina asking me, "Are you okay?" I'm like, not if you're calling. What's going on? What's about to happen? What did I do? What did Grandma Jenny tell you? I mean, I'm just, I'm liable to say that to her at any moment, ladies and gentlemen. So you see us on the Facebook saying something, and I say, I don't want to talk to Grandma Jenny today. I'm not being mean. I just, sometimes.
I'm good.
But again, she's legit. What she's telling you is the truth. I've seen it myself in person, and I've gotten some calls. So I do know you are serious about your check.
Yes,
And if someone
very.
comes to your spirit, you definitely will call and say, "Hey, are you okay?" But I never heard that story. That's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
wow. So that's
Yeah.
really, you don't feel heavy. That's a lot of
Um,
gifts.
it's a lot of gifts, but it's, as I was sharing, they all are elevated at different times. They're all not at the top at the same time. So I go through the season of the mediumship. I go through the season of the intuitiveness. Right now, I am sitting in the season of healing. And the one that takes the most out of me is actually the mediumship, because I'm being a conduit for that message. So it's like that spirit is taking over my body. And what's also interesting about it is sometimes to get the client to recognize that it is that particular one, loved one, my mannerisms also change.
Mhm.
And so they can be like, "You were my mother," or "You were my so and so." So that takes a lot of energy from me. That one
Yeah.
definitely does. Right now, I'm in the cycle of doing healing, and I'm doing a lot of energy clearing and healing with clients. So that one also is different because I am tapping into where there are blockages in your vessel, your body. And the restrictions can be in your throat chakra, it can be your abdomen. So it could be in various areas of your body. And to me, it looks like everyday things. Visually, what I see is everyday things. So, for
Hmm.
example, recently I was doing a group energy clearing. I had 4 women, and each of them had restrictions in different areas.
Now, when you say restrictions, I want people to be clear.
So it's almost like it's the restriction or blockage is something that is within them that's limiting them. And so let's say your hands are tied together, or your feet are bound, or there's knots in your stomach, or there's clouds over your head.
Okay.
So, and for me, visually, it's everyday visual things that I see that I can tell you what I'm seeing and what it means. So, for example, yesterday I was doing the energy clearing with clients. We're doing energy clearing for financial flow, of why the abundance was not flowing as much as they would like them to. One of my clients, I just kept feeling like the Charlie Brown, the kid with all the dust that kept walking around them. Every time
Hmm.
they moved it, I forgot what he's called. And this client, I just saw all this dust over her head. And she was sitting up because I could see them all. She was just sitting up like this in her bed. She had on a onesie with a hood. So her whole head, but all I kept seeing was dust over her head and numbers and words. but they were all jumbled together where you could not make sense of them. And as I was explaining this to her, and I was like, it's just like so much is going on and you need to start sorting them out. And the blockage is there's so much information coming in that you're not allowing it to go out. You're not allowing it to flow out. And my direction is to start writing it. It doesn't have to make sense. I just need you to get it out of you in order for you to gain clarity to receive the information you need. And she's like, that makes a lot of sense because right now I have a loved one who is dealing with some health challenges and I'm trying to do everything for them to make sure everything's okay. And the health challenge is they may have to have brain surgery.
Again, I'm speechless.
And she's like, I'm sitting there like, oh, okay. Well, it makes sense because sometimes I question myself. I'm like, Tina, where did you get this from? But I have to be obedient and share it
Right.
because I don't know. It's not meant for me. It's meant for the individual.
I've actually heard other mediums say that what they have is not for them. And so they just kind of got to say it and
It's not supposed to make sense to us. It doesn't have to make sense. Why? Like,
yeah.
why? I keep saying, well, why do I keep smelling peanut butter, peanut butter, peanut butter? And then I go to a client, I'm like, yeah, I'm smelling peanut butter. She's like, oh, I don't like peanut butter. But my mother used to always make peanut butter cookies. There's the connection. Sometimes we think it's just us. It's not always just us. It's the people or individuals that we are connected to. Are you feeling stuck, weighed down by negative energy, or struggling to break free from past traumas? It's time to reconnect with your inner self and clear away those obstacles that are holding you back. Hi, I'm Tina C Hines, and I'm here to guide you on a journey of energy cleansing and healing. In my energy clearing sessions, I work alongside spirit guides to identify and remove blockages in your energy field, creating space for positive healing energy to flow freely. By bringing your consciousness into alignment with your body, we initiate a mindful healing process that addresses the root causes of your struggles. Energy clearing isn't just about healing our emotions or our minds. It's about nurturing every aspect of our body, mind, and spirit. Whether you're seeking relief from anxiety, seeking clarity on your life path, or simply want to experience a deeper connection with yourself, an energy cleansing session with me can help you achieve profound transformation. Don't let negativity hold you back any longer. Visit tinachines.com to book your energy clearing session today and start your journey towards a lighter, more vibrant life. That's tinachines.com. Sometimes we think it's just us. It's not always just us. It's the people or individuals that we are connected to.
Wow.
So that's the energy healing. It's helping you. Number one, we identify where the blockage is in your body, whatever it is. And then I use crystals and I use the sage to clear it. You have to experience it. I can't truly 100% put it into words. But as I'm working with my clients to clearing the energy, whether we're on Zoom or whether we're in face-to-face it is a little bit different because I put certain things around you. I put crystals around you. I may have my chimes here, or if I'm back in the States, I have my singing bowl. So there are certain tools that I use that I put around you just to block out all the I like to say not so positive because I don't like the word negative, the not so positive energy to create the flow. So
And just so we clear, this is not witchcraft. Because, we have some very religious people out here that really go far with things. And so I want to make sure I'm very clear. We're not speaking of anything that has to do with witches or any of that. This is not witchcraft.
Yeah.
She said energy clearing.
Energy. Here's the thing, and we recently were having this discussion. As I said, I'm the daughter of a minister. So I spent most of my life in church. And in Pentecostal church, I know he was at church a lot. But one of the things that I experienced as an adult, I used to go to a very big church in New Jersey. And this is before I knew about my gift. I never knew why I felt so heavy.
Right.
And I would sit in the back of the church. But I would go to 9:00 service. I would come home and I would have to sleep for 2 hours because I was so exhausted. And I have this analogy because I'm a visual person. as I started observing why this was happening and trying to gain an understanding and noticing that predominantly churches are filled with women.
Very much.
Yes, filled with women who are searching for some type of healing, whatever it looks like. And we go there because we know the person in the pulpit is going to be delivering a message that's just for us.
Mm-hmm.
That is what we needed to hear in that moment. So in the visualization, what we do, we go there to be vulnerable, to get the word of Gus, as I like to say, God, universe, source. So it's almost like we zipped ourselves down to expose our inner to the healing. And we get that word, we get that message, and it comes in. And when the message is done, we zip back up and we go home, but we don't do anything. Message. We needed the message. It was for us. But now the work with the message is required.
Right.
We
right.
don't do the work. We stop at the work. And we know, what is the saying? Faith without works is dead. When you want change, transformation, or my preferred word, when you want growth, you have to be willing to do the work.
You have to do something. Yeah. And I think a lot of coaches say that now. Even therapists say that. I mean, as an adult, you have to own the stuff and then you have to work through it. And
Yeah.
very few people don't have something to work with.
Yeah.
Very few people
Yeah.
don't have something to work through. So if you're not doing your work, it starts with you.
It starts with you. Because a lot of time they're waiting. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
It doesn't matter because they still can't do nothing without you. They need your help to get the job done. So you could hire somebody and pay them thousands of dollars. If you do nothing, nothing will happen. I
Yeah.
guarantee you, it doesn't matter who you are.
Listen, I know for a fact, up close and personal, I met this young lady. Again, Angola is an amazing space for healing. And I met this wonderful person there, and they reached back out to me about a year or two later. And we started working together. And I gave her this one simple assignment. I just want you to write in your journal. I mailed you the journal. Like, so you can't even say you don't have one. What do you want me to write? I want you to write whatever comes up. And for week 1, she didn't write in her journal. Week 2, didn't write in her journal. Week 3, I got pissed. And I go,
Now,
listen.
we should put a point here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you hire Tina, please don't give her excuses. What I would advise you to do is just tell her that you didn't do it. What I would not advise you to do is avoid her or not follow her instructions. But go ahead. You were saying you got pissed.
So I got pissed. And I said, listen, I'm not going to allow you to waste your money and my time. I just need you to write in the journal. Because what happens is I'm getting this feeling and I can't tell you what to do. I have to guide you to it. And I'm like, all I need you to do is write in the journal. I don't care if you write one word. I just need you to write something in the journal. And she's like, Tina, what do you want me to write? Right? I said, write the sky is blue. Right, Tina, what do you want me to write? I just need you to write. So we sat there because now we're going to do the homework together.
Uh-oh. You got to do the homework now with the teacher in the class.
Because my side was killing me.
Mhm.
She wrote the word abandonment. And soon as she wrote the word, I went and I'm like, thank you. I proceeded to share with her where abandonment had showed up in her life, in her relationship with her marriages, her children, her grandchildren, her parents. And she just looked at me and said, oh my God, are you saying that that one word is what you needed? I was like, yes, because now I can help you understand all these shifts that you have been experiencing in your life. And now you can work through the growth that you have been seeking. The next 3 weeks, she was like, look what I wrote in my journal.
Bet you didn't have to tell her to write no more.
She was like, look what I wrote in my journal, Tina, blah, blah. And after that, every time we would meet, every week we would meet, her energy had shifted. And that's where I say this is not no voodoo. I operate from a place of light. I don't operate from a place of darkness. And
say that
that
again.
light, I operate from a place of light. I do not
Light.
operate from a place of darkness. And the light in me sees the light in you. I'm just trying to help you allow it to glow. The light in me sees the light in you. I'm the vessel that was positioned in front of you to help you see it. Because there are many times, there are so many people, so many sisters who are, their light is dim for whatever
Mm.
reason, from whatever experience. And I'm like, that is no longer you.
Yeah.
You're growing, you're changing. And I was positioned in front of you to help you see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That one word. Wow.
That one word.
Yeah. I'm so glad she
And
finally yielded.
yes, because she was killing me. But, this work, I love it. And I do get challenges every now and again.
Mhm.
However, I don't step away from it because I know that I am following in the footsteps of my grandmothers. And I know that they could not have the same voice that I have now in the
Mhm.
way that I have the ability to help those who come to me. And I embrace it. I love when I get to see the light shine from those who I'm serving.
Yes.
And
That's a beautiful thing.
for
Yes.
those who feel like they've been stuck or they don't know what direction to go in, they were like, I don't know where to start. And I was like, you just have a conversation with me and I
Yeah.
can guide you on where you're supposed to start. I host these healing retreats. I host them in different places for a variety of reasons. They started over 12 years ago. And I've had women come to the retreats to work on themselves. I had women say, I'm going to come to your retreat next year. And I'm like, well, the healing starts at home. The transformation starts at home. Why are you going to wait like a year and a half to go out of the country to go work on your stuff? Start at home.
Right. Would you wait to stop a wound from bleeding?
Right.
Just asking.
Mm.
I just want to put that perspective out there, ladies and gentlemen. Would
Yeah.
you wait if you knew your body was infected? Would you wait?
Yeah.
Just asking. Just asking.
Yeah. So it's always interesting.
Okay, great. What do you have coming up?
So right now I have coming up June 8th through the 15th. I'm hosting a Breathe in Bali healing retreat for women. And let me be clear because people always ask me, well, is it for this type of women? Is it for this type of women? It's for women. And it's for everyone who feels like they are on a journey of self discovery, reconnecting with the woman within, reconnecting with the person within.
Mhm.
It is very much energy work, it's yoga, it's meditation. We're going to have an experience with a shaman healer in Bali and just to do some clearing of us because I'm not gonna lie, I'm just gonna call a spade a spade. We in the States carry so much weight around with us. And it's not the physical weight. The mental and emotional weight we carry is heavier than the physical weight. And these retreats create the safe space for you to be authentically you and to allow the layers to be peeled back. With the retreats, what's so great about them is there's always a sisterhood that is created from these experiences because women are coming together for themselves and they
Mhm.
realize that they are facing some similar challenges as the person sitting next to them.
Mhm.
And that's part of the reason why I discourage bringing friends and family members to my retreats
Oh,
because
you do?
I, yes, you ain't bringing your sister, your mama, your cousin. You need to come
Oh,
alone
okay.
because there may be some stuff sitting within you that you have not shared with anyone.
Mhm.
9 times out of 10, it's going to come up. And you want to feel safe, like you're not going to be judged. Friends and family sometimes judge you, or you're going to get back to the room and they're going to be like, so girl, what was that about? With the retreats, when you're coming with other women who are on the same journey, they're not going to say, what's that about? They're going to be like, ooh, I experienced that too. It's going to be, you're going to be able to make that solid connection with them. You're going to find that person who gets it. You know how you want to explain something? You'd be like, Lord, if I explain this, you ain't going to get it. But you talk to
Right.
someone who's experienced it and they get it. That's
Right.
what you experience at the retreats. And you just get to simply be. You get to be pampered. You get to be taken care of. You don't have to worry about anybody else. That's why you're discouraged from your time on social media. Be present
Right.
here. There's
Right.
nothing you can change at home. Here, you're on the other side of the country and on the side of the world anyway. So be
Right.
present in this space because If you don't allow yourself to be present, Gus, God, universe, source, is going to swoon in and be like, hey, there's a message here. We need you to be present here. And I'm
Yes.
telling you this from experience of every retreat I have hosted. Many times they're wanting to call home, check in, the significant other can't find a cold medicine, all of these things that are going on. And I'm like, you need to be present here, because when you don't, shift is going to happen. And
Mm.
that happened one time. One of the young ladies, her partner kept calling, calling, calling. And I'm like, are the kids okay? And she goes, yeah. I said, then tell them to leave you alone. But they kept calling. And I said, they're disrupting you. 2 days later, she got sick. So she had to stay in her room for a day and a half. She had to isolate herself because it was coming out of every orifice. And she goes, you kept telling me to tell them to leave me alone. I says, universe was like, you don't want to listen? Let me get your attention. And it did. And so she needed that. And then finally she told them to leave her alone.
Mm-hmm.
And she was able to heal. And then she was able to be present for the retreat, present with the other
Mm-hmm.
women who were there, as
Mm-hmm.
well as present with herself. Because all of these other things were distractions, keeping you from the premise of why you were there,
Yeah. Yeah.
to tap into what you have been evading for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
And when they return home, I get phone calls of, what did you do to my wife? Or what did you do to my sister? Or what did you do to so and so? And it's like, I didn't do anything. They were like, they're so calm. They're so just flowing through stuff.
And you say
They're
you
so,
didn't do anything? Is that what
I
you
didn't
say?
do anything. I didn't do anything. I just encouraged them to be present.
Mm. Well, I mean, trust me, it's a beautiful experience. But, I thought about that when we were talking about earlier. If you do no work, nothing will happen. So
Mm-hmm.
even if you go to one of Tina's very fine retreats, if you go there and try to be on your phone the whole time, it's not going to work.
No,
Not going to
no.
work. Look, she doesn't host parties.
No.
So
And why would you invest in yourself to go and be on social media? You
some
miss
people don't know
out.
what really investing in themselves means.
Yeah, this is true.
So that's what they have you for, to teach
Yeah.
them. Because
Yeah.
some people have that really twisted, like
Mm-hmm.
self-care and self-love. We major in teaching people about that. And I'm never surprised at what people think is caring for themselves and is really caring for others. That has nothing to do with you. That
Mm-hmm.
has something to do with upkeeping someone else. What are you doing to upkeep you?
And I
So,
like to call it soul care,
hmm,
where you're going in to tap into your soul and asking, here we go. Your girl that showed up.
oh my, see, Grandma
Soul
Jenny, I done made it
care,
almost a whole through this podcast. Don't do me, Grandma Jenny.
soul care. So you can check in and ask her what she needs.
Mhm.
You consistently ask everyone else what they need and how can I help you? But when was the last time you checked in to see what she needs and giving it to her
Mhm.
unapologetically, unapologetically, giving her exactly what she needs in that moment, caring for her, nurturing her, healing her. Because a lot of times we forget about her. It is adult you responsibility to take
Mhm.
care of little you. It is
Yeah.
now your responsibility. It's no one else's. You can't blame anything that happened in your past now that you're an adult, because it's your responsibility to take the reins, keep them safe.
Well, once again, you leave me speechless. And I think that's a good thing, because rarely am I speechless. But I want to say that I always feed off your energy, and it's always good.
Thank
Every single time I'm in your presence, I really feel like I learned about energy from you. And I'm much more noticeable of it because of you. And so when I'm in your presence, I see nothing but light, and I feel this warm sense as well, even though you can be straightforward to the point. The light is there and it's strong. And so I just wanted to have you on so that the rest of the world could see this light and then govern themselves accordingly to the information that we're giving them. And I think we have done that with this podcast today. So I thank you so much, my friend, for coming. It is a joy to see you happy and healthy and whole and thriving in Morocco. Like I said, you already made my show worldwide because you're in Morocco. So I appreciate you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so very much for coming in and spending some time with me today. Tell people how they can find you, your website, that type of stuff. Of course, if you go to my website, Tina will be there as well as a trusted partner. So if you click the trusted partner tab, you can find information about her, how to, talk to her, how to book her, things of that nature. But she's going to tell you just so you can hear it.
So there are a couple of ways that you can connect with me. If you are interested in any healing work or transformation coaching, you can go to my website, tinachines.com, which is my full name. And you'll see the list of services there that you can review the information and see which one is a good fit for you. If you are uncertain of whether you want an intuitive reading or a mediumship, you can send me a message and I can help you decide which one would be the best fit for you in that moment. You can also find me on social media. I am on Facebook and TikTok as Tina C Hines. And on Instagram, I'm Tina C Hines 50. So you can find me on all of those platforms as well.
Okay, great. And if they want to come to your retreat,
If you want to come to the retreat, you are welcome. We do have space. It is June 8th through the 15th. Details are on my website as well, listed under retreats. And you'll also see pictures of previous retreats on the website. And if you say you have listened to this podcast, you send me a message and you will get a nice little discount. We would love to have you experience Bali.
listen, we're full of gifts today.
Yes.
So take advantage, people. Listen to the podcast and then reach out to Tina and go get your healing. Listen, vote for you.
You owe it to
Please,
yourself. It is
please,
your
please,
responsibility. It is your
please.
responsibility. We can't sit continually walking around unfulfilled and unhappy. This is your journey. This is your season for happiness.
Yes. Yes. And who wants to be miserable?
Know it.
There's enough stuff going on in the world. And for you to keep your own stuff,
And it
yeah,
ages you.
listen, that we won't even get on aging. Okay. We won't do that. But again, thank you, Tina, for coming on. Thank you, everyone, for listening today. And I encourage each of you to go and find out what's going on with Tina C. Hines and what she has to offer. And if you can make it to the retreat, I encourage you to do that as well. I definitely stand by this woman, Black Girl Magic, right here in front of you. And I want to support her. I want you all to support her. And I definitely want you to get your healing. So if you're looking for someone who does what she does, she's the best at it. Call her today. And the next episode will be airing soon. So the question has been asked of me many times. What is the Jennifer experience? Why should I come to you for help? What is it that you can do for me that can't nobody else do for me? The answer to that question is this. I'm not a magician. I don't do magic. I don't do any of that type of stuff. What I do is give you the real and honest truth. I give you what I have learned from my life and my experiences. And I've had a lot of experiences. But through all of those experiences, what I have learned to do is see beyond limitations. I've been able to see that people get bound up in what's in their head and they're unable to move past that. And so whether it's fear, whether it's loss, whether it's breakup, whether it's dysfunction, whether it's lack of communication, whatever it is that's going on, I am certain that I can assist you through that just because of what special gift has been given to me, just because of how I've been able to overcome so many things, and because I do not allow myself to be limited by the limitations that are in my mind. I feel like we all have limitations that our mind comes with, but it's up to you to break through those limitations to reach your full potential. And that's what I'm here for. So if somebody were to ask you why the Jennifer experience, the Jennifer experience will help you see past today It will help you get to tomorrow. The Jennifer experience will show you the path that you need to go through so that at some point in time, you'll be able to give the same gift that I gave to you. You'll be able to give it to someone else because I will equip you with what you need to make it through whatever you're going through. This I know for sure.